I'm here with my co-host Candy Nelson, and we have been trying to go live for a while. If you didn't see all of the little clips saying Waking God Child's going live, Waking God Child going live, GMO this, GMO that. Well, the GMOs won that battle. So finally, I'm working. If you can't tell, then my phone started going dead. Had to get a charger. Blah blah blah. Long story short, Candy Nelson and I are here with you tonight, and we are going live. The topic, as you can tell, was we interrupt this program, and that's because we were interrupted multiple times. The topic is actually on genetically modified organisms, GMO technology, your Frankenfoods, your whatnot that your children are eating, we're eating, everyone's consuming, and does it or does it not have intelligence? So, with
Well,
that said,
let
what is
me
your
let me yeah, let me give my definition of GMO to break
yes,
this
please
down
do.
again. GMO, genetics, the DNA, modifying, changing organisms, any living thing. So when GMOs are in your food supply, you're taking the DNA and you're altering it of other
Changing
living
it.
organisms and putting it into the food supply.
Yeah. So when they make those commercials that say non-GMO or GMO, they're putting that on there for a reason. It's not just for you to learn your ABCs with just a few letters. It is basically them telling you, and sorry guys, I will be driving at the same time because again, I am on the job working. However, I just ended that, but I have an hour's drive home, hour and a half,
I'm
2 hours
sorry,
drive.
I'm yawning a lot tonight, but I'm trying to do it quietly on this.
Yeah, and I apologize because Candy is so patient. She's 2 hours later than me. So it is very late where she is. It's late enough here. I had to stay up for 2 nights straight doing this job. Got to be back in the morning at 9 a.m. And again, it's 2 hours. That is a bossy woman right there. The map, not Candy. So, hopefully I will black out because I'll tell you what. You guys can't see me. You probably won't be able to see me, but again, I'm driving. So you don't need to see me because I had green eyebrows earlier. I am not even not.
I'm
Was
sorry,
I
that was
lying,
funny.
Candy? No,
That
my
was
eyebrows
funny.
were green. Why? I don't
Yeah.
know. And I am broken out to everywhere with these lovely little GMO spots, is what I'm going to call them tonight. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
me too.
genetics harm and hurt your own genetics. Proceed to the root. You are so bossy, lady. I mean, I've had enough with this MapQuest woman. She needs bot slopped. Okay. So, you guys are going to hear that on the way, but I have to get my way out of here. By the way, I'm by NASA. Who knew? My job is right. I'm not even a mile away from. Turn right. Wow, you just really should hush. Not even a mile away from where they first launched our shuttle going to the moon 50 years ago, and we've never been back, but that's a whole nother topic now, isn't it? So, yeah. In 3/4 nothing to see here, folks. Make a U-turn. This is going to
Yeah,
stop in a second, so.
yeah. My stupid GPS today. I was going to go to a restaurant, so I'm in the lane coming off the expressway, and I was in the lane to turn left when the light turned green, right? But my GPS says turn right, and I'm like, wait a minute, did they move? So I waited till the light changed, and I went ahead and made the right. And after I made the right to go the other direction, which the restaurant was not, it tells me to make a U-turn as soon as possible. I'm like, "Are you
Every
kidding me?"
time. Every time. That happens to me all the time. I think because sometimes the map takes a second to catch up. But yeah, been there, done that, actually daily. It stinks because then it'll really get you lost.
Mm.
So, Candy, back to the GMO, genetically modified organism topic. We know that right now this is something that's been big in our lives for quite some time, and that goes for the it started with Monsanto. Well, it didn't start there. It's obviously if you're anybody that knows anything, it's probably been going on for years, and they just needed someone to pin the blame on. Correct? So he
Yeah.
seems like an easy dude to do that with, just like they have to have Epstein, Jeffrey, or whoever. They always got to have someone with, a name or just anyone to pin the blame on, which is seemingly part of the narrative. But what are your thoughts as far as do these organisms have a sort of intelligence, and how are they affecting us? I mean, I know we know, but I would like an expert's opinion, Miss Nelson. So
I don't know about the expert part, but
I think
you
it's
know,
an expert
for the
opinion.
past ever since I learned about GMOs, it's been 15 years ago when I started getting all these symptoms and everything. I was like always like posting stuff about, anti-GMO, and trying to explain to people about GMOs, thinking that GMOs was the main culprit in our Morgellons symptoms. And then I got to thinking about it just within the last year because I've always been, major anti-GMO. And
Yeah,
I got to thinking about it. I'm like, well, if you think about something, okay, if you really think about something, like over our lives, we've already exchanged DNA with every single person that's ever sneezed on us, every person we've had sex with, every person we've
any
kissed.
interaction. Yeah,
And so, we've already exchanged DNA with other humans.
blood
So I
transfusions.
don't look as the GMO so much as the culprit, okay, the primary culprit. I think that with the GMOs and the nanotechnology together, so without the nanotechnology, I don't think the GMOs would be doing as much damage as they are
Right.
because the nano has to be involved in it because again, you've already had so much exposure to other DNA all over the course of your life from the cradle to the grave. So I don't think the exchange of the DNA is the primary culprit. I think when you add in the smart technology in with that, then
Yeah.
that's when everything gets stupid on us.
Right.
So that's just my thought. And like I said, I've rethought
I
that
agree.
over the last year because I was always so like, it's those dadgum GMOs, the GMOs, the GMOs. No, I don't think that's the primary
Well, I
answer.
mean, we're
It's a
changing
mix.
genetics, period, which is wrong. I think, right? It's not what God made. It's not how He intended. But you
Well, but
throw
like I said,
that nanotech in with it, it
yes,
becomes alive with a conscious, so to speak, with a conscience, so to speak.
exactly, exactly. And so that's what I was saying. If you think about it, every person that's ever sneezed on you, every person that you've ever touched something after they touched it, they were sweating, you touched it. You've
Yeah.
already been exposed to other DNA that didn't cause
Go
all this
grab a
crazy stuff.
basket at Walmart to go shopping. You're touching the same garbage. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So yeah, I
impossible
don't I
to
don't I don't look no longer look as that as the primary culprit. I think that the altering part
the
of it,
altering.
yeah, with the nanotechnology that they're doing with it, it causes the DNA to come alive and react differently than what it would if we were just exposed to the
Totally
GMOs
agree.
alone.
Yeah, and
That's just my thought.
it becomes so aware of its own presence. I think when you throw that nanotech in, I mean, they shape shift. I've seen
Yeah.
it. You've seen it. They shape shift. A monkfish or a tree or a plant or a bud
My
or
monk
a portion of a
my
spider or
monkfish
bud
photo.
space.
Yeah, that monkfish photo, man, like I said, I plucked that sucker out of my scalp, like, years ago, and I was like, "Man, that's the weirdest looking thing I've ever seen," and then I mean, that
Yeah,
was probably 10, 12 years ago, and then my friend posted a picture of a monkfish that she was
right.
eating,
I've
and I'm
seen
like,
things
"Oh
come out of
my
my
god."
body resembling human fetuses.
Yeah,
Literally,
and even the
and part of
fibers,
that
e
probably is because if you
well,
think about
even
the
the e
genetics that it's meshed.
yeah, but even, like, when I've scoped a lot of the fibers, just the fibers alone, they have, like, the shape of a dog or the shape of a bird or I'm like, "Oh
Yeah,
god, really? The
yeah,
fibers
it's
wouldn't
just
do that."
it's
Well,
bizarre.
the fibers wouldn't morph themselves into looking like an actual, other living thing like that, just the fibers alone. I mean, how can that be? Like I said, I've got so many that look like the most weirdest like, I've got this one that's got a beak on it and an eye and looks like a bird, and I'm like, "That's just fibers, so how is that?" No.
Yeah, it is bizarre. And here's another funny. It's on topic still, but y'all ever get the bundles of fibers that like will bundle together and become like one day like a bundle of fibers looked like my dog. It stood up on four legs and had its little tongue out, but it was
Yeah, I
nothing
got
but a
those
fiber
too.
shadow of a real image. And my
Yes.
friend Sharon Johnson said one day she was riding her exercise bike, right? And she was riding it and looking out the window or whatever, and she looks down, there's a fiber that looks like a human on an exercise bike, pedaling away. And I mean, it's like, it's just, you want to talk about the mimicking. They mimic and they shapeshift. And I think the life that comes from these fibers. These fibers harbor an electronic type frequency and energy, electromagnetic energy that brings to life whatever it can harvest from the body, whether it be collagen or cells or bits and pieces of blood, dried blood, or fabrics even from your clothing, per se.
Oh,
Not to be
yeah.
mistaken with the actual fiber themselves, but they
And
bring
look
these
at
things together and bring them to life.
Yeah, and look at like how many times have we discussed bloodworms? You know, when your nose is like itching, and
Yes.
then like my nose was itching, and I felt something crawling
Mine is
out
now.
of my nose, and I blew and I pulled, and it was like probably about 4 inches long, and I'm like, it looked like a
What
damn
is
worm,
this? Yeah.
and then when I scoped it, it looked like a feather. The hell is that?
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. The feathering. And I mean, I've seen it all, or just when I thought I've seen it all, something new and different happens every day. And I can laugh about this now, and it's not. But you have to, with this, you have to learn how to laugh. You have to have a sense of humor. Other words, it'll suck the life out of you. So, whenever you guys hear me laugh or make jokes about it, or when I put on my stupid Morgie videos, there is a reason for that. Because, well, in essence, it's a slap in the face of, where this derives from, or who it derives from, or how it even derived. It's an insult. Adding insult to injury, though, I get. But I mean, you have to be able to laugh. You have to find the humor. I mean, just like I, made fun of the drunk flying airplane that had the stream behind it going straight to the moon, but it was all curvy. When they're like, "Oh, looky there, he's drunk. Can't even fly straight. How you gonna kill us straight?" So you got to make funnies out of this sometimes, guys, because in other words, things look pretty bleak and they feel bleak, right?
Yeah,
And
and
people get
another
very
thing too.
depressed from it.
Yeah, and then it's like I know when I changed my way of thinking, like I was telling you about the time I was in the kitchen and I was cooking and I seen something out of the corner of my eye on the floor and I just kept ignoring it. Well, I mean, finally after it went around the edge of the island and went to the other side, I peeked around the corner and it was a ball of hair that was literally jumping and crawling off the floor, across the floor. It probably went 15 feet. Back then I just had a little junky little cell phone that, the camera wasn't that great on it, but I go and get my phone, I come back, I start videotaping it because, like I said, that thing went like 15 feet crawling and jumping, and it was hair. And I'm like, so I get my phone, I start recording, and then all of a sudden it stops being as active as it was. So it knew that I was there recording. So I got a sandwich bag, I put my hand on the inside of it, I grabbed it, closed it up in the baggie, went back, cooked my breakfast afterwards, went back and I scoped the thing, and it was just hair with a couple of fibers inside of it. There was no bug, nothing that would make it crawl and jump like that 15 feet across my floor. And so, yeah, those things used to freak me out. Now I'm just like, okay, whatever. You have to laugh at them, you know? Are you still there, Lisa? I think we lost you. I'm still live though, so I guess I'll just keep talking. But anyway, I mean, so yeah, a lot of times there's plenty of times I want to just freak out and cry and get upset, but like I can't give it that power. And it says the guest left, so I'm still showing as being live, so I'm just going to keep talking here. But again, it's like when you don't feed into the negativity, it's like it has no power over you. So it can't hurt you. if you don't allow it to intimidate you or, freak you out. It's like, I mean, I used to go outside and I would look up in the sky and see the sky was completely saturated. And I'm like, oh God, I can't go nowhere. I'd come back in the house and close the door, you know? So, yeah, those were really bad times. I went through years of
Trying
that.
to resume this.
Oh,
Are
you're
you there?
back. You're
Wow.
back. Yeah. I kept talking, so
Thank goodness,
without you.
because yeah, we interrupt this
But
program to bring you. Yep, that. Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry, technical difficulty. It's actually not. It is literally the story of our lives. All of us.
yeah, I was talking about, how all these bizarre things happen and, you get scared and you get freaky about it. And it's like you're jumping and you're afraid to go anywhere. You're afraid to eat anything, afraid to do
Yeah.
anything. It's like, so it has power over you. And
Yes, and often it's easy to give it the power if we don't control that and take our power back.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
It is
I mean,
very, very, very much something that we gotta understand.
when I learn how to laugh instead of just get freaked out or get mad or get upset and stop, you know,
Yeah. I
anything
mean, you
negative.
have to, because we all know, and I don't, whether you're a truther, whether you're a spiritual person, whether you're a religious person, whether you're a Morgellons person, whether you're a supernatural person or a conspiracy theorist, or whatever you consider yourself to be, we all know, and we've known since the moment we came to be, that there is a beginning and there is an end. Maybe not an infinite end, but there's an end to this here. So, knowing this, no matter what the circumstances are or what we realize as our truth, why not make the best of it either way? We have to make it count. It's important. It's the most important thing we can do. We have to make an impact and imprint on our lives, especially our families' lives and other people's lives. And though we may not like, what our family does to us or how they or the world around us acts towards us, it's okay. We can make funnies and jokes and still survive and thrive. And whether we have minutes left in this life or years, it's neither here nor there. It's what do we do with that time while we're here? And I think it's easy for all of us to forget. I mean, we're human at the end of the day, so.
Yeah, and that's why,
But
like I said, I lost myself. I didn't even know how to interact with my children and my grandchildren, and
it's
then
easy to do, yes.
my daughter chewed me a new one over it, and I was like, wait a minute, am I living to die or am I dying to live? I mean, it's
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Are we dying to live or living to? Yes, and I love the way you put that. It's so true. I mean, who are we giving the power to, or are we taking the power back? And I love that about you, Candy. You took your power back and took the lemons and you made some lemonade, and I actually threw my mother trucking lemons back at the world at one point, but made key lime pie after that because it didn't even call for lemons. Who knew? So, I mean, that's the point right there, guys. So, whatever life gives you or tosses your way, it's up to you what to do with it and how to go about it. We can let the world destroy us, or we can build the world back up by shining a light. And I think it's impossible for us to fail as long as we have the good Lord on our side. And I think that's number one first and foremost. And I don't think we can really go wrong with that. But we are human. We have weaknesses. But you know what? We have so much strength. We've gained so much strength. I don't know about you guys, but I had no idea. I knew I was pretty dang strong, right? We all probably knew we were pretty dang strong. But did you ever know how strong you actually were until you went through something like this? Whether it be Morgellons or the awakening process or supernatural or conspiracies of any level, I bet you never knew your actual strength until you were aware of your actual strength by being pretty much thrown into it, right? I think that goes for pretty much everyone that's out there. What about you, Candy?
oh
You've
yeah,
been strong from the get-go. I know your history and your story, and I'll tell you what, you've been a fighter from day one. But
yeah.
the
I
strength you
remember
have is amazing.
when I started putting that black salve on my legs, oh my God, I thought I was gonna die, man. You talking about pure hell for 2
I'm
years.
scared about anything black, because black goo started my whole issue. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
but that black salve is a whole different ballgame, man.
Yeah, I know. It just terrifies me. I'm gonna put my phone back on the holder. It just terrifies me, just because that goo has back to that intelligence thing, and I think that's
Yeah,
completely separate from the GMO type situation we were talking about. God, there's so many conspiracies out there that aren't theories; they're truth, and it's bizarre how our whole world has pretty much been a lie. But yes, back to the salve. Sorry. Go ahead and elaborate on that, because I'm sure some people might be interested in, and I am too, in trying that out. Seeing the effects.
trying what out? I'm
The
sorry.
black salve. The black
Oh,
salve.
well, and
Yeah.
like I told you, I would put some like on the bottom of my leg between my knee and my ankle, but I could feel it pulling all the way up to my hip. And then like sometimes too, I'd put it on my in between my knee and my um ankle, and it
Yeah.
feel
That's
like
where I'm
I
having
could
issues
feel the
now.
fibers pull. I could feel the fibers pull all around my ankle. It just felt like my it was gonna like separate my foot from my leg. My God, it was so powerful,
Yeah.
powerful stuff.
Well, I
But
know when I pull on these little things, I can feel them in different parts of my body, because they latch on and they branch out and intertwine through your whole system anyway. So I think anytime you try to remove them, that's, or seems to be, a pretty common feeling. Pulling, like if I pull from, say, my forehead area, I can feel it in my neck area, or sometimes in my gut, my stomach. Isn't that strange how the connection seems to be like interconnected throughout the body? I
yeah,
think there's a branching system through it. Well, I know there is. I've pulled the branches out, which look like Hydra, which is probably the whole concept of the Hydra. And when you break it off, it just grows back anyway. So I think there's definitely,
remember
I
that
know it's
years
going
ago I
on.
told you about that one little fiber that I had here that I worked so hard trying to get it to come out and it wouldn't. I finally was able to get it one time and I'm pulling, pulling, pulling. It was like fishing line. And I got it
Yeah.
out probably about 3 or 4 inches and I'm pulling on it. It was hurting it. Felt like my eye was gonna pop out of my head. I mean, I could
Yes,
feel
I've
it all
had,
over my
yes, and
brain.
that fishing line consistency, but feeling like your eyeballs being pulled with it. Actually, I'm
Yeah.
going through that kind of right now, so
Well, and
that's awful.
my husband was like, "That's an ingrown hair." I was like, "This is not a hair." It's like
Yeah, okay.
fishing line. It was thick.
I know everyone's got some sort of grand idea or type of advice as to add what this is or what that. Just like the video I put up the other night, I had a lady come on. She's like, "Those are moths. Those are moths. That's a spider spinning a web." I've heard it all. It's like, part of me gets what they're saying. I do, but the other part of me wants to scream like, "Do I look stupid? Don't you think that if you're thinking that, that probably would have crossed my mind too? So therefore, I would have checked and I would have
But
made sure, or I'm there in the flesh so I can see the size of it. Or better yet, did you watch the video all the way through where the part where I turned on the light and showed myself waving my hand in front, or showing, me cleaning off the lens to make sure it wasn't like a microscopic spider that looked just ginormous, because if it were a spider, you would see it one way or the other. Did you see me pointing the flashlight? I want to scream these things to people. And it's not just that. It's just like everything. Whether you see an unidentified in the sky, like, oh, that's an airplane. Or, oh,
but I think
it's
too,
crazy
like,
the logic people have to look for, though. They're always looking for logic. And it
but
makes sense.
I think too, I didn't even know about Morgellons then, and I didn't really have, Morgellons symptoms. I just had that one thing. But even then, I think that I was even self-aware enough to know, even though I didn't know about Morgellons, I knew that that was not a hair. I was like, this
You
is
can
not a
tell,
hair.
like, yeah, you know your body, you know
Yeah.
that your surroundings, what you were born to know and see with your eyes your whole life. So when you see something different, if people's pulling out a video camera to video something, it's one of two things: either it's real or they're being devious and deceitful. It's gonna be one or the other. But it's not going to be, well, I just want to make a great movie and see if people believe it. That's typically not going to be it. And you should know that if someone's brave enough to put something on and show you, number one, they've done the process of elimination. Number two, they're obviously seeing something they've never seen before. And we've been alive long enough to know that it's something we haven't seen before. Therefore, we know it's not okay. It's not right. Something strange is happening. Enough so that we're showing or talking or telling. So I guess I want to point that out to the newcomers that watch, the channel or some of the videos that or the things we talk about. Please don't be too quick too hasty to judge or to say, well, this is this and that's that. And we got the same common sense. We were all born with it. It's common sense to look for the obvious. But when we're telling you, look, I've been alive long enough and I'm seeing something different for the first time, so much so I'm videoing it to show you, that means, well, exactly that. That's exactly what that means. Something different. It's not right. Not a spider, not a bug, not a Morgellon fiber, not an ingrown hair, not any of that. It's something we haven't had before. We know right from wrong and what we've been structured or programmed or whatever you want to call it, conditioned to believe. Our cognitive responses are. We know that we're seeing something different. So don't, come on, please. I'm just saying. And I know we've all probably done it on people's channels. I'm probably guilty too. Shame on me if I did, but we don't want to. Come on, we got the common sense. We were born with it. We know to look for the obvious. So, and anyone that knows Candy or I, we would never be deceitful. Never, ever. There's no reason to be. And it brings negativity anyway. It brings negative energy from others. Like, nobody does this on purpose because they want. I just love negative attention. Please give me some more. We do it because we're spreading awareness, and we're gonna keep doing it until you guys one day cave and say, "Oh, they really were telling the truth." And trust me, it'll happen. You will eventually, if you're not seeing it yet or now, you will. People are waking up every day, starting to be aware and definitely seeing things in different eyes. Daily, people are waking up. So maybe not our families yet. Maybe not those that we love, and none of our friends, or if we have friends, I don't have any here in this direct area. But people are waking up, and if you're not one of them yet, don't be too quick to judge, because you're next. You're next. Hopefully, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's just scary when it happens. That's all. But it is a little intimidating when it happens. So
just hold on for the ride, because guess what? We done been there, done that.
Buckle up, big truck is gonna be a long haul. Yeah, been there, done that. I got the T-shirt, and better sooner than later. So I'm glad that I was in the early group. I actually am grateful for that. As terrifying and wild and crazy as it's been, and the tears shed over it, I'm still very, very happy and blessed that it happened, because I can't imagine being a late bloomer with some of these people that at the last second are going to wake up, they're like, holy mother, Harry Nuggets, what just happened? Like, what's going on?
I mean,
it's going to be fine.
Well, and like I said too, I had all those symptoms all those years, and then my nurse was the one that told me about it. When I started researching it at first, I was like, "Oh, what the hell was this?" But I mean, honestly, if she would have never told me, I would have never figured it out, and
Yeah,
I just would
I
have never
literally,
known.
nobody told me. I was like, oh my gosh, something just happened. It started with the rocks. It started with the digging. It started with black tarry stuff on my hand. I started researching all of those things, which each little itty bitty item that happened that I Googled and researched. And these are about the only times that Google comes in handy, guys, is when you're just doing one fact at a time and not the whole shebang. Just like, this is this, and what does that mean? But if that is what ultimately led up, because then I went on to Google the fiber that I saw from the black tar substance shoot into my foot. And that's what led up to my acknowledgement and understanding of Morgellons for the very first time in my life. Never, ever did I hear of it, which is why so many people haven't heard of it, because, well, number one, it's not talked about. It's not widely shared. People are afraid to talk about it. They've been made afraid to talk about it. and because they know they're going to be shamed for it. They're going to be shunned and shamed and, sent to the corner or the cuckoo house, which I've been to all of those places. And I don't mind going again because at least I don't have to interact with the dummies out here.
Well, all I can say is I'm so thankful that I know. I mean, I can't even imagine having symptoms all these years and not knowing. And
Yeah, that's a scary thought, actually, if you think about it. They say ignorance is bliss. Not for this girl.
no, no, no. I can't even imagine going through all these bizarre things that I did and all that
Not
horrible
knowing.
pain, fibers and lesions and yeah, and of course you're not gonna like even now I was thinking the other day, I've been going through a lot of depression this past week, a lot of reasons why, but I got people that I know, they're always going to the boat, out on a boat, they're going to the beach. I don't get to do those things because I can't be in the sun.
Yeah.
And so I
And
already
I
feel
subject myself
isolated.
to it and I pay.
And then I told my friend the other day, I was like, "Man," I was like, I learned about a new herb that grows out here. It's called goldenrod." I said, "I'm gonna tell you." I said, "I can't go out there in the sun to get any, it's growing everywhere." I was like, "But when there's an overcast day, I'm gonna call you on the spur of the moment and say, 'Let's go foraging.'" So,
Love it.
yeah.
Yeah,
But that
there's so many things I loved to do in the past that I actually stopped doing for the longest time, and just recently I just started doing it again. Not like, and I'm not comparing to what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, going in the sun, going, like, walking barefoot through my house or the yard. These are things when I got Morgellons, like, I'm spraying my clothes off, putting them in a hot dryer constantly. There's no way I'm gonna take off my shoes walking barefoot across anything. And I went through years of that, and I realized I stripped myself of the quality of life. And then one day I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go one way or the other. Come hell or high water, I'm gonna go. My life's not promised, never has been promised to me. The good Lord's gonna take me home when He wants to take me home, and I don't even know why I'm trying to prolong this because it kind of sucks here and people aren't very nice. And, as long as I'm putting my best foot forward and giving the very best of myself and making an imprint, a difference, and an impact in a positive way on other people's lives around me, I should still be able to live, laugh, love, and enjoy and not have to freaking hide from everything because of fear, because Satan created fear. Fear comes from him, and I'm so tired of giving him the glory. And one day I was just like, trust me, it wasn't easy. I started baby stepping it. Okay, I'm gonna put my foot on the ground, like, without my shoe. That sounds funny to some people. That sounds silly to some people, especially those that don't have Morgellons. Like, why can't do I barefoot? That's dumb. But if you knew the pain that you feel when you have a fiber shoot into your foot, or
yeah.
the fact that you're going to be battling the outcome from that one fiber forever, you'd understand why we fear that. But I'll
Right.
tell you what's happened is because I decided to let go of a lot of, trust me, still big quirks. I do, and sometimes it'll kick back in, and I got to remind myself. But because I decided to discard that fear and let go of that fear and just embrace life and try to enjoy what the quality time that I can get, even if it's not given by others. You guys gotta understand, your quality time is not gonna come from someone else blessing you with a great day ever again. It's just not. You are gonna find your enjoyment from yourself, from the things you decide to do. And it could be, I hunt rocks. Rocks are bad, by the way, but that's a whole different thing. But I still like them. But I mean, you can pick flowers or like Candy, she makes crafts and she creates beautiful things. She puts her whole self into creating beautiful things. And it's something we're all capable of. And it's easier said than done, but if we spend our lives in fear and we spend our lives, in this area of neglecting the life that we were given, we lose. We're losing out because there is an end. There's a beginning and there is an end, but there's also an infinite eternity promise, and it's quality, not quantity. And we need to remember that we deserve quality living. We are worthy and deserving. I don't care if it's 5 minutes of quality living or 50 years of quality living, we deserve it. We shouldn't have to live in the fear that Satan like bestowed upon us, because he sucks, frankly. Actually, he sucks. I'm gonna not even say that's not nice, but he sucks bad, okay? But I mean, I'm not gonna be robbed of my life any longer. Yeah, I have the moments. I'm human, so I know there's gonna be like, oh, she's just full of crap. Not full of crap. I'm human. I suffer along with you, but I came upon a realization that it is quality and not quantity, and we don't have to be afraid. We can still be sensible. We don't have to go subject ourselves. But I did. I started going out in the water again. I hate to go in the ocean, the water. I saw the Morgellons and everything. I still do. But what I noticed is I'm not affected as much as like I was now. It's almost like when they know you're not afraid, they stop trying so hard to get inside your body. I know that sounds weird, but it's almost like they know your psyche. They know what you're thinking, how you feel, and they want you to be scared. They were programmed and made and designed to scare you and mess with your spiritual, self. And they did a darn good job, let me tell you. They did. But when you realize it, you realize also they don't try as hard anymore. Like I said, I still have lesions. They definitely still try. But I'm not affected like I was when I was so fearful. It's like the more I battled them, the worse I got. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
How about with you, Candy? Like, did you ever notice that the more you battled them, the worse you got?
Yeah, see I've got so many scars, and I'm like, I don't even care
Me
about
too.
scars,
Scar all
It's just,
over.
it don't matter,
Yeah, my arms
it
look like
doesn't
that.
matter.
Yeah, bless your heart. You had a really horrible case. I mean, one of the worst I've seen. And guys, she still smiles. She still laughs, and she's found beauty in living. And we all can stand to do that. It's important. I mean, my family left me for dead, had me committed, and I never will forget that. I bring it up every time. But you know what? It's a lesson I learned that I experienced. I would rather be dead than ever have to experience that again. To me, that was die. I would rather die a million times than have to experience that feeling I felt that day when I realized my family didn't love me anymore. And then I reminded myself, my family is not. They're being controlled. I believe there's a magical spell that has been put upon the people around us that keeps them. You can tell them, but in 5 seconds, that's why they don't react to what we say or show them in a video, or if you're Sheila or myself showing the pictures and nobody seems surprised. I think that Satan is the greatest magician there ever was, and there is a spell that I believe has been bestowed upon the people, and we were probably one of them at one time, to where we forget in 5 seconds after we've been shown something, and we might oh my gosh, I do see that, but then the next thing you know, they act like nothing happened, or they say you're crazy. And I think that it's not them. It's not actually them making that decision. I think we were all enslaved at one time, and well, we know we're an enslaved race, but
Yeah,
I think
that's
the mind
why
and soul has been enslaved.
and that's why I was just baffled that, all those fibers that came out of my leg, and I put the video out there on Facebook Live,
Yeah,
and
that was
then my
crazy.
family doesn't even well, back then, they were just like, like it wasn't, I didn't even put it out there. And then, like I said, my daughter gets all over me. I was like, well, you putting all this stuff out on Facebook.
Yeah.
I was like, because y'all think I'm crazy. I had to get some support
That just
somewhere.
made me fight harder, the more
Yeah,
they said don't do it, the more I was like, well, I'm freaking
yeah.
doing it. But
But
you see, don't do it to this girl, and I've always been like that. Don't tell me I can't ever, and don't say don't do that, because number one, if you say I can't, I'm going to show you I can, right? And
well,
if you say don't do that, well, I'm probably going to do that. Don't touch that
and
hot pan. I'm probably going to grab it with both hands.
the thing is too, it's like, oh my gosh. I mean, that took. I mean, I can't even tell you how much how empowered I felt when I finally released myself to put that out there. And then I would have never got the doctor that I have now if I hadn't showed him that video the very first day I met him. I mean, He's amazing, and like I said, if I hadn't have showed him that video with those fibers coming out of my leg,
Yeah.
I just
Most
don't think
doctors
he
I've
would.
seen, you could show them that and they would be like, I mean, I really thought I got through to the CDC doctor that day. I went 18 hours and sat there throughout the night, and he saw, and he's like, his eyes got big, and he's like, hold on, I'll be right back. He left that room, and I was just like, yes, I'm high fiving myself. I'm in there with my butt probably hanging out of the hospital gown, like jumping around like a flipping idiot, tiny and all, you know, like, yeah, he's listening because I could see it in his face. He saw it. And he comes back and he gets out this pen and paper and he was like, I'm writing you a script for Risperdal and I'm going to recommend a psychiatrist. And I'm like, I just like my heart sank and hit rock bottom. I mean, I'll never forget it. I'm thinking, you saw, I know it shocked you. He was shocked. He left the room and he came back in like he saw nothing. CTC in Houston, Texas, guys. Truest story ever. I had specimens too, and he's like, "Get that out of my office! Get it out of here! Don't you ever bring this back!" I mean, he was terrified. No, didn't want to see him, and you could see he was ghostly white. Did not want to see anything. Get those out of my office now! Don't ever bring those back. And I'm like, "Well, you're sure awfully scared for someone that's crazy, quote
Yeah.
unquote. You know? Come
Well,
on now."
I took a CD with pictures of videos with the fibers coming out to the dermatologist at the University of Florida in Gainesville, and
Good
she
idea.
comes back in, she handed me the CD. She's like, "Well, we downloaded all your pictures and your videos, but if you ever come back in my office again talking about fibers coming out of your skin, I'll be referring you to a psychiatrist."
Yeah.
And they
I
will
mean, you're
diagnose
going
you
by
with
code, and
delusions.
it took me a while to figure that out. Number one, the medical facilities and their staff and the professionals, their hands are tied. But who tied up their integrity? That's what I want to freaking know. Who
Right.
tied up the integrity? Where's that? Where's the discernment and the integrity? Like, someone tie that up too? I mean, come on. It doesn't have to stop you from being a good and decent human. But again, I'm going to tell you, that doctor saw, he came back in like he saw nothing. So that's when I bring up the black magic or the dark magic or the spells, or I don't care what you want to call it, some sort of voodoo stuff, but some sort of a veil has been put over the human eyes in the population around us. And it was once over our own. Because I have looked at old pictures from when I was a wee little girl, which means they're ancient. Yeah, okay, I don't need you to tell me that. But I have looked back on these photos. I have looked at the surroundings around me, around anyone. I've seen old pictures everywhere. You can go to the library and ask for them. You're going to see the Morgellons kind of concepts or formations and everything, even then. They're there. So, and some people call, well, there was a Mandela effect. I do believe there is that Mandela effect. I think that's part of the spell, part of the deceiving, wickedness. Satan is the ruler and the leader and the principalities of evil in the air. Air is magic. That's where all your vibrational frequencies go on. Makes sense to me. But I mean, I truly, truly believe this. I feel it's been laid on my heart. It's something I just know. Nobody had to tell me. It's like one of those things, and you guys know what I'm talking about. You ever just know something and you don't know how you know it? You just know it. You just know it. You feel it so deeply. You just know. Well, these are
But
the
this is
things that
not a
these
hair.
stones, right? I'm just saying. I mean, like, you ever run across people? I brush shoulders with a man in Walmart. Well, I actually do get a vision of what he did to his wife last night with her hunkered down in the corner, black and blue. But I mean, you ever just, encounter someone you just know that they're not good people. They're not, like you just trust your instincts, trust your gut, trust your heart, because Satan masquerades as an angel of light. Indeed, he does, and he is so deceitful. And if
Yeah.
we look at the pretties on the outside and we don't pay attention to the inside, we will get misled. And many
What
of us
years?
have.
I don't know if you ever heard me talk about, but years ago when my abilities were so much better than they are now, but anyway, back then I was pretty sharp on things, but I'd be at the grocery store and it's like I could literally just smell evil in the air. And I would turn
You
around and
can
look.
feel it, yes.
I'd turn around and look, and then they would just be standing there, and I'm like, "Oh, that's where that aroma's coming from," and it demonic, demonic.
You can
But I
feel it,
smelled it.
smell it, yes,
Yeah,
demonic. Demons have a
an
smell,
odor.
they have a
Yeah.
feeling, they have a, you ever, when the back of the, the hair on the back of your neck stands straight up or your arms south blue, those are demons, guys.
Yeah.
Those are negative energies and presences
Or your
and
eye, or your
things to
eyebrows
be
turn
aware of.
green. Your eyebrows turn green.
Or when your eyebrows are, I still don't know what the heck's going on. I'm like, why are my eyebrows green? They were green, guys, like the
Sorry, that
Joker
was
green.
funny.
I'm like, what's going on? This is actually, maybe I'll start a new trend and maybe like tomorrow everyone will be wearing green eyebrows and more heat.
Oh my god.
I don't know. But, I think honestly, that made me think like there's a chemical reaction going on within my body as well.
Hey, what is it? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yellow and blue make green, right?
What's that?
Yellow and blue make green.
Yeah.
Is that what it is on the color chart? Yellow and blue make
Yellow,
green?
blue, and green, yes, but I don't have any blue anything, so
No, so
my
I'm
eyes
just
are blue.
saying. I'm saying maybe those eyebrows you had like blue fibers in there with your blonde hair and it just kind of reared
And I
itself out
had
as
lots of blue
green.
fibers come out, though, for
Yeah.
real.
Yeah,
I
maybe that's what it
really have
was.
lots of, well, I've been getting green fibers, too, which is weird, but I have been, like, a light colored green. But here's a funny little story I bet you all can relate to that have Morgellons. Have y'all noticed that if you have, like, a favorite color, or you've been seeing a lot of a color, for instance, or, like my daughter wanted a green prom dress. She green everything. Her favorite color is green. I hate green. Green's not my color. I like green for other people, but, like, as my personal preference, I'm a blue girl. I've always been not pink, not rose, not blush, not just blue, especially baby blue. But my daughter loves green. Actually, 3 of my daughters love green. So I was on this hunt for green everything. Well, my gosh, all of a sudden I start getting green fibers. I mean, truest story ever. Never had I ever had a green fiber, right? But I mean, all of a sudden, green fibers. In blue, I never had the blue fibers, but I never was thinking blue. But when I went on the hunt for that little blue Subaru, the light blue Subaru, that my daughter is now driving, but because I gave it to her because it's very safe and that's important. When I went on the hunt for that, all of a sudden I'm getting light blue fibers. It is like, have you noticed that, Candy? Did that happen to you at all? Maybe you had a monkfish that you ate for dinner one night and that happened. But I mean, isn't it bizarre? Just like riding the bicycle and the fibers are shaped like a bicycle or whatever.
Well, but you know what's funny is like, I mean, I wear red, white, and blue every single day now. But when I first got Morgellons and the fibers were red, white, and blue, I wasn't wearing red, white, and blue
But
then.
you're a red, white, and blue girl, yeah.
Yeah, but I am now. So it's like so many people are quick to say, "Well, you wear red, white, and blue every day." Yeah,
Oh, but
but
you weren't then. I get what you're saying.
no, I
Yeah.
wasn't then.
I never wore green.
Yeah,
So, ever. Yeah, it's
look
just
at the
strange.
pants.
I guess like it goes back to the shape shifting and the. There you go. That's my girl right there. That's pretty, by the way.
Thank you.
That's our girl, guys, right there. She is.
These are those windbreaker pants. They have the
But I mean, true though. I mean, it's a manifestation. I think we are more magical than we understand. Also,
these are
I
those
really do believe that that's why they use our DNA for things.
these are those windbreaker
So.
pants that had the cotton lining on the inside. The cotton lining. So it's like nothing. It's really thin.
Ooh.
Yeah, but
There's nothing touching ours. I wanted to. I probably. Well, I have. I just don't like. I feel naked, but.
well,
If
they
they
had
make
that.
clothes like
They had that
that, maybe
liner.
they make us like that too.
They had the liner
Bras,
on
I
the
need bras.
inside. They had the liner on the inside, and my skin was so tore up and everything. Man, I was just wanted something light that I didn't have binding up my skin back in the day.
It's hard to find clothing that works for us. And that's not even being fearful, guys. Like, those that don't have Morgellons, if you're listening to this podcast, our skin is so tender and so inflamed and so in pain all the time. Trust me, it's like, say you have like, I'm gonna put this, say you have shingles. It's like 5 times worse than shingles. And then imagine something contacting your body with a blistery, infective, cluster of shingles. And times it by 5, and then put a scratchy old pair of jeans over it. See how you feel. I mean, it is awful. So, yeah. And I take note of what Candy says works for clothing, especially like the bamboo product, because I know the girl knows, and she always comes up with the most comfortable clothing and attire that one could possibly have when you're
Yes,
going
see
to
my
work.
blanket? Look, I got this from the thrift store, but it's no fuzzies. It's a quilted
Oh,
blanket, but no
wow.
fuzzies.
That looks soft, soft.
Yeah, I love it, but it's no fuzzies, so
Yeah, it's hard to find stuff like that. But I mean, when you go, like, I'm a thrifty girl. I like thrift stuff. And a lot of people will be like, well, why would you do that? That probably has more gallons, blah, blah, blah. Everything has more gallons. Everything
right.
has it, guys.
Got
Everything.
baby
You can
bugs. Look at
minimize the
that.
budget and stuff like that, but put it in a hot dryer. It will help. But everything has it. So lose the fear. You gotta lose that fear. Live. You gotta live.
Cute.
So not put yourself in pain. But yeah, that looks amazingly soft. And those little ladybugs are adorable.
Yeah.
That's cute. I don't know. I guess message tonight, and I'm gonna have to get off here soon because I gotta get gas, and I got another hour almost so to go. But
I got
message tonight,
some.
guys, is don't let Satan steal your life and snuff it out before your time is even close. Tomorrow's not promised, but if we live in that fear of like, well, I might die. We're all going to die, guys. So just get the heck right straight up over that part. We're gonna. We live in the moment as much as we can with common sense, of course. Don't like go out there and be like, you see that pile of fibers over there where they're all wriggling around? I'm gonna go jump in it. I'm not saying do that. Not saying do that. But don't live your life in fear because you're losing out on beautiful memories and moments that you could have the chance of making and holding close to your heart. And I don't care. 5 minutes of happiness is worth an eternity to me. I mean, I'm tired of giving up my happiness for someone that doesn't deserve it. And that goes for the
Right.
leeches
And
around us
well,
too. Like all
and
leeches
honestly,
and
it's it's
trolls
been
and
it's been
Satans.
so it's been so hot here when I try to go outside, like when during the day, I'm
Well, the
like, oh
sun
my
is
God,
white. It is not
I
a
can't even
yes.
breathe. I can't even breathe in it, and I'm like,
I can't
so
either. Nobody can. It's bad. It's bad.
I got up at 7 o'clock this morning, ran into town, did what I had to do, and got back there just as quick as I could. I hate
It's
being out in
horrible.
this.
I mean, I literally like I said, I'm in South Texas. You're in Florida, and Florida is kind of like South Texas. It is just one of those like you're smothering, dying kind of heats, guys. I'm here to tell you right now. Any one of you that thought Texas or Florida was hot before, like say even 5 years ago, you thought it was hot then. Right now, you guys wouldn't make it even 20 minutes outside. It's that bad. But it is. It's all over God's green earth. Like Greece, for instance. And Greece is a whole different country. I went to Greece like 20 years ago, and it was so freaking hot. It was a dry heat. And I'm from New Mexico, so I mean I can handle the dry heat, but it was a hot dry heat. I'm hearing that these people now in Greece cannot even go outside even for a moment hardly. And I'm in Texas, and I'm telling you, I feel like I'm suffocating, dying. It's so bad. But the sun is white. The radiation is all around it. You guys are seeing the rings around the sun and the discoloration, which it comes in pastels. Looks like a rainbow around the sun. You're seeing all of these anomalies. It should come as no surprise. Well, hold your cell phone up, zoom into the sun during the daytime, and you're going to see that it is a hexagonal shape. It is not round whatsoever. But in the afternoons, you can zoom in as it's starting to set, and you can see the solar flares. You can see the black dots on the sun that suddenly becomes a little yellow tinge again at the end of the day. You can see these flares, and it's erupting like volcanoes, glowing out of the sun. And trust me, I know because I video it every single day. Know what I'm looking at. The moon too, by the way, which the moon, I think, is the white light that people see when they say they're dying. I think that's where souls come in and out of. I think that's why our moods are affected when the moon is out in full, especially. I think that's why menstrual cycles are affected. Whole nother podcast. I got lots of thoughts. Whether they're accurate or not, but they come from a place of things that I try to make sense of. So,
Yeah.
that's all we can try to do
Hey,
is make sense of things.
what did you call last week's podcast? Pick the winner?
Yes, picking a winner.
Okay, so I want to remind everybody too, if you haven't gone on there and picked 3 numbers from last week's podcast, go out there and make a comment because we're gonna probably before the show starts next week, we're gonna go through there and figure out which one is gonna get that medium flat rate box.
Winner, chicken dinner. Yes, 3 separate comments, so not in the same box. Don't put here's one comment. I picked 3, 15, and 12. Or 100 and 129 and 307. You can't do it all in one comment. It's got to be 3 separate comments, preferably after the live stream in the comment section on YouTube, because it's going to be easier for us to go through that. Because it's hard to see the comments on the live stream after it's already.
Yeah, you can't do it on Facebook. So if you see the YouTube video on Facebook, the numbers are not going to matter there. You have to go to the YouTube channel and do it.
And the numbers are between what again, Candy? You want to remind everyone?
1 and 300.
1 and 300. So you got a wide variation there. So whoever comes the closest, or if there's a tie, that's going to be easier, which the chances of a tie are going to be slim to none. But it'll be easier to see who has the next number down that they picked for their third number that's closer to. So, yeah. And then Candy's going to have a beautiful package to send to some lucky winner chicken dinner. And soon, t-shirts will be coming, and we'll have drawings for those. And I will probably do straight up drawings for the t-shirts by just submitting your name if I see that you're participating quite often in, conversation or live streams or, pretty much just to see that you are here and you are loud and proud about, what you're going through, what you're experiencing. And I don't care if it's Morgellon, Supernatural, or you just wear a tinfoil hat and you know nothing about it, but you were wanting to wear the tinfoil hat. It's just all about growth, guys. It's all about spiritual growth and achievement towards more positive, better, brighter days that we're all so deserving of and searching for. And trust me, they're there. We will be rewarded. It's coming. And Satan's days are numbered. So I'm counting them down too. I know I just check. Okay, it's day number 5,822. Satan, your day's coming. But it is. I mean, all bad things come to an end. I'm going to change that up. So, all right, Candy, anything else you'd like to add? Or
nope.
Get off on this next exit here.
Yeah, I just can't wait to tell y'all about my next adventure with that rendering beeswax.
You can go ahead and tell if you like. I think it's pretty awesome. I got 5 miles, but she always has the best luck with beeswax.
I got a bowl of bee soup, dead bees, and pollen and honey and wax, and it's all mixed together.
Beans and rice is what she said it looks like.
Yeah. I have to get it. I have to go get it and show y'all. It's really freaky looking, but anyway, I'll get it real quick. But I'm like, oh, what am I supposed to do with this? How am I supposed to get this beeswax out of here? But I figured it out, so I'll be doing that pretty soon. But it'll be fun. But anyway,
I think the story, actually, you probably will have to tell the whole story on the next podcast because you're gonna have to start with the first time that you were looking for beeswax. That's why she has some pretty incredible, crazy luck when it comes to finding the things. And the bumps you're hearing is not me either. It's road construction, by the way. They are.
Hold on, let me run grab that thing real quick.
Okay. I hate this road here. It's so bad. Texas never stops working on their roads ever, and you would think that it would come to an end, but it doesn't. It's because that white sun, y'all. White hot sun. It's not the sun because it's hexagonal. I'm telling you guys, go out in the daytime. Well, that's a weird light in the sky. I wish I could turn my phone around and show you all. Actually, I'm gonna see if you guys can see this. Besides that nut job. Yeah, they don't like that. It's a construction zone, Dumas. You gotta go slow. Okay, well, all they saw was the moon because the light stopped blinking the second that happened. But it's over
Can
there.
you see it? Look.
Oh, it does look like beans and rice. That's crazy. That's crazy. Ew. That's gross. It actually does, though. Yeah, love it.
All right, let me go set this back in there.
I can't wait to see how that turns out once you strain it and all that good stuff. So I can't believe these guys flying through. You're like, she's driving too slow. No, I was actually speeding through a construction zone also.
But he brought me that, and I see all those bees in there, and I'm like, what the heck am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah, it's called bees and rice, not beans and that's crazy. Those are dead bees, guys, that you saw in that was dead bees. So yeah, they worked their little patookies off. They sacrificed a lot of their lives for the beeswax are gonna receive in a package, guys. So say thank you. I'm just kidding. I think it's pretty awesome though. I mean that like you get to process it and do it yourself and it sounds like a big job.
Learn something new. You know, you get to learn something new, and then
every day. You taught me.
Yeah.
You just taught me.
And if they're throwing that out all the time, and I can figure out how to make the wax out of it, it's like
the product. Yeah,
endless supply.
That's crazy. I'm so proud of you, though. I'm so amazed at how it's. I really believe that you guys can will anything upon yourselves if you think about it enough, and it's within a good, respectable nature. I believe that we can manifest anything. So, can you imagine if we were all trying to manifest good things together, or the same things, or like bringing into. And not just Morgellons, because Morgellons is a small portion of a huge picture. You guys, don't forget that, please, first and foremost. Morgellons isn't the problem. It's the beast behind the measure, okay? It is a huge, huge puzzle, and Morgellons or UFOs or Bigfoot or Sloppy Foot or Messy Foot or the Loch Ness Monster, they're just pieces of a puzzle that's grand. But can you imagine if our puzzle was put back together again with love and kindness and awareness? I think we could change the world in many ways, even if it's for 5 minutes or 50 years. I believe in it. So, okay, guys, this time I do have to go. I'm out of gas stations and I have nowhere to exit. So yeah, if I'm on the side of the road later, anyone going between Houston and Sealy, Texas, or Galveston and Sealy, Texas, just you see a blonde out there waving her hands. That's me. So pick me up, pretty please, and thank you. Be like, hello. I was doing a podcast while I was driving, which is illegal. So could you pick me up? Yeah, I didn't get gas like I should have. Well, it's not really illegal. It's still hands free. Well, most of it. Okay, that's. But then I'd be a cookie cutter if I followed the rules. But I do have to kind of follow the law. So, all right. Well, Candy,
hi, Argo.
I appreciate you being patient tonight with the issues.
Argo's the only one commented tonight.
Argo, wild man. I just love him. He's been with us for a long, long time. He's the family. He's the biggest portion of the family too. Like always there, and thank you for always participating and always loving us back. Really appreciate you, Argo. Very, 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 and another very much for real. So, and anyone else that wants to comment later with the numbers, three different comments.
Between 1 and 300.
1 and 300, and then next week
on last week's podcast.
And Candy's already got the number. She already showed me the number's already been picked. So next week we will announce the winner chicken dinner. So I don't know why I was saying that. That was weird. Broke into song for no reason. Way to go, Lise. High five. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going. I'm out.
All right.
All right.
Love you.
Y'all have a good night. Love you.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
All right, bye.